You don't need a passport to see food inequality. Just cross a few city blocks. In one zip code, there's a $12 kale smoothie bar. In the next, the closest option is a gas station selling chips, soda, and lottery tickets. The difference between the two? Not just geography, policy, history, and profit. This isn't a coincidence. It's by design. And the name for it is food apartheid. For years, the term food desert dominated headlines. But that phrase suggests these places just happened. Like some natural disaster erased access to nutrition. But deserts occur naturally. Apartheid does not. The term food apartheid was coined by Black food justice activist Karen Washington, who argued that this isn't about access alone. It's about intentional exclusion. It's about who controls the food system, who profits from it, and who gets left out. And in the United States, that line has always followed race and class. Walk into most poor neighborhoods, especially Black and brown communities, and here's what you'll find. No major grocery chains, rows of fast food restaurants, liquor stores and dollar stores on every corner. Maybe one fresh option, overpriced and understocked. Now compare that to an affluent neighborhood 10 minutes away. Organic produce, health food chains, farmers markets, delivery apps, smoothie bars, nutrition coaches. The myth is that people in underserved areas don't care about healthy eating. But when your nearest full grocery store is 45 minutes away, with no car, and your rent's due next week, that dollar burger becomes survival. This is how poverty weaponizes convenience. But it's not just about what's missing. It's about what's been put there on purpose. Fast food companies intentionally oversaturate low-income neighborhoods. Processed food brands target communities of color with aggressive marketing. Sugary cereals, cheap snacks, and ultra-processed meat products, all placed at eye level for kids. Why? Because it's profitable.
The advertising blitz isn't the only problem facing low-income communities of color. There's also a lack of quality food options.
These companies know the margins are tight, so they flood the zone with options that are cheap to make, addictive, and heavily subsidized. And they have help. From lobbyists, from zoning boards, from local governments that gave up on food equity decades ago. Even public transportation routes are part of the problem. Some cities have bus lines that literally skip grocery stores, but stop right outside fast food chains and liquor marts. This isn't a glitch in the system, this is the system. And what about the data? It's brutal. Black Americans are 75% more likely to live in neighborhoods with limited access to healthy food. Native and Latino communities face similar patterns, especially in rural or post-industrial areas. Meanwhile, predominantly white suburban areas are flooded with choices, not because they're inherently more healthy, but because decades of housing policy, redlining, and income stratification have made it that way. The result? A country where zip code is a better predictor of your health than your genetics. But this isn't just about health. It's about power. Because when you don't control your food, you don't control your future. Who grows your food? Who prices it? Who profits from what you feed your kids? Under food apartheid, those answers are concentrated in corporate boardrooms, far away from the communities most affected. And yet the narrative is always about individual responsibility. Just make better choices. Just eat clean. Just buy organic. As if those choices are available to everyone. They're not.
So think about what's important to you. Think about your heart.
Think red.
Think red.
Think red.
We're told that health is a personal responsibility. that eating well is just a matter of willpower. But here's what the system doesn't want you to know. When healthy food is physically or financially out of reach, choice becomes a myth. The consequences are predictable and deadly. Rates of obesity, diabetes, hypertension, and heart disease are sky high in areas affected by food apartheid. But instead of addressing structural causes, the narrative shifts blame onto the individual. Eat better, exercise more, try harder. But how do you exercise more when your neighborhood isn't safe to walk in? How do you eat better when your fridge is empty and your SNAP benefits don't stretch past the second week? This is how systemic inequality gets repackaged as personal failure. And when the same people struggling with this are bombarded with moralistic health advice from schools, clinics, and social media, it's not just unhelpful, it's humiliating. It reinforces the idea that their health outcomes are a reflection of their character, not their circumstances. That if they're sick, overweight, or tired, it's because they didn't care enough, when, in reality, the system didn't care about them. And then, there's social media. Open Instagram or TikTok, and you're flooded with what I eat in a day videos from wellness influencers. Avocado toast, organic salmon, adaptogen smoothies, mushroom coffee, $15 salads with biodegradable packaging. The implication is clear. This is what success looks like. This is what you should be doing. But what happens when the only salad near you comes in a plastic bag with 3 wilting leaves and a packet of ranch? Wellness becomes a performance, and food becomes a status symbol. Even worse, social media often moralizes eating. Veganism is ethical. Organic is pure. Sugar is evil. Clean eating becomes almost religious, and those who can't afford to participate get silently judged.
A cheeseburger.
Yeah, we can do a cheeseburger.
A real cheeseburger. Not some fancy deconstructed apple bullshit, a real cheeseburger.
Well, I'll make you a very good, very traditional cheeseburger.
I don't think you can.
I'll make you feel as if you're eating the first cheeseburger you ever ate. The cheap one your parents could barely afford.
When creators glamorize $200 grocery hauls and pristine fridge organization as self-care, it turns health into an aesthetic, not a necessity. It sends the message that if your meals don't look good enough to post, they must not be good enough at all. This disconnect creates shame, anxiety, quiet humiliation, especially among teens and young adults navigating both food insecurity and an algorithm that never lets them forget it. But not everyone is silent.
Aisha Maharis came to East New York from Jamaica when she was 12. Now she oversees the farm and its weekly farmers market, the only one in the neighborhood. Why did you get out of the bodega business?
Okay, you've made all this money off this neighborhood, now do something better for the neighborhood. Like, why do you need to keep selling this garbage?
Across the country, a grassroots food justice movement is growing, and it's being led by the very communities most affected. In Black and Indigenous neighborhoods, people are reclaiming food as a right, not a luxury. Urban farms are turning abandoned lots into vegetable gardens. Mutual aid groups are stocking free community fridges. Black-owned cooperatives are building alternative food systems from the ground up. And they're not waiting for policy change. They're creating real, tangible solutions in real time. From school garden programs that teach kids how to grow their own food, to mobile markets that deliver fresh produce to underserved neighborhoods, these movements are redefining food access on their own terms. This isn't charity, it's resistance. Because food apartheid isn't just about what people eat. It's about who decides what people get to eat. And in many communities, that power is finally being taken back. So the next time someone asks why people just don't eat better, Remember this: the problem isn't willpower, it's capitalism, it's policy, it's profit. Food apartheid doesn't just starve bodies, it starves opportunity, it starves hope. But it can be dismantled, from the roots up. And the people doing it aren't waiting to be saved. They're planting their own future, one garden, one fridge, and one meal at a time.